Okay, make sure you have day 2 notes out, and go ahead and fill out your vocabulary for median and centroid. So I would like to start out with saying that in your triangle, from the vertex to the midpoint, this is called your median. And then the point here is your midpoint. And the big idea is that you need to be able to see that these two segments are congruent to each other. So we know that if this was 5, this is also 5 units. Down here, when all 3 medians are drawn in a triangle, they create a center called the centroid. And so the centroid is point P. And then these different formulas will help us figure out the different lengths of those segments. Basically, you could think of this as AE is broken up in 3 parts that are congruent. So PE is half the size of AP. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and apply these to the examples below. So for example 1, it says, if P is the centroid of triangle JKL, JK is 22. Okay, so if we know this whole thing here is 22, if M is the midpoint, we know that each one of these segments is 11. And then KN is 13. So we also know that NL is 13, making the whole side 26. And then OL is 18. So JO is 18, making this whole side 36. And then we just need to go ahead and fill in all of our segments. So KM is 11. NL is 13.
How bad was class yesterday?
KL
How bad was class?
is 26. JO is 18.
That many sheets per turn.
And JL is 36. So the big idea is making sure that we understand that M, N, and O are all midpoints of the triangle. In part B, it says A is the centroid of triangle QRP. Find X if TP equals 2X plus 1. So here's TP. And TQ is 3X minus 5. If you know that this is a centroid, then you know that these segments that are drawn inside of here are medians, making this a midpoint. So these two pieces are congruent. So we're just setting up an equation. We're going to say 2x plus 1 equals 3x minus 5. And all they're asking there is to find x. So I would subtract 2 from both sides, so I would have 1 equals 1x minus 5. And I would add 5 to both sides, giving me 6 equals x. Okay. The next two we're having to deal with the actual median itself. So here it says G is a centroid. So since we know that G is a centroid, we know we're dealing with medians. AG is 8. GF is 7. And BG is 5. All right, so now, if we're trying to figure out GD, right here, this is the little piece of this median. So this is half the size of this longer piece. So half of 8 gives me 4. Then AD would be 8 plus 4, which is 12. Okay. CG is the longer piece of the median, and we know that the little piece is 7. So this is twice the size of 7. So that would be doubled. So 7 times 2 gives me 14. And then GE is the bigger part of the line. So 5 is our little piece. So we would double 5. Get 10. So GE is 10. And then BE would be 5 plus 10, which is 15. Okay, and then D is very similar to that one. So we know Z is the centroid. That means that all of our segments are medians. TZ is 60. XZ is 28. And WZ is 25. So now we need to go through and start figuring out each piece. So ZV. All right, so ZV is the longer piece of the median, and so we'd have to double the smaller piece. So 28 times 2, which is 56. And then ZY is a smaller piece of the median, so that would be half of 60, which is 30. And then ZU is the longer piece of the median, so 25 doubled is 50. TY, so we need to figure out the small piece first. So the small piece we already figured out was 30 from part B. And so 60 plus 30 gives us 90. And then lastly, XV. So we need to figure out ZV. And then we figured out that was 56 in part A. So 28 plus 56 is 84. All right, so this whole section is about just medians and centroids on this page. This is also going to be posted on Google Classroom, so you have the notes in case you've missed something. And let's get ready to go on to the next section.